pieces melted back to life. Done my time and served my sentence. Dress me up and watch me die. If it feels good, tastes good, it must be mine. Dynasty decapitated, you just might see a ghost tonight. And if you don't know now, you know. I'm taking back the crown. I'm all dressed up and naked. I see what's mine and take it. Sometimes we fight. Oh yeah, the crown.
All right, so we are here with another episode of Hell of a Show here. We're going to have a great time on this one. Although, as much as I enjoy the intro that I have on these shows and it gets you all pumped up and excited and ready for the show, for some reason, this one just seemed that it needed to be different. It almost seemed like it needed to be something more along the lines of Who Let the Dogs Out or something. That's what I would kind of go with on this one. But we're going to have a doggone good time on here today. Yeah, dad jokes are included in this one. Just live with it. But we're going to have fun with this. Please remember to go ahead and subscribe and share so you don't miss out on any of the content, and then share so we get more people involved in what's going on and get the voice of the indies shared out together. Now, aside from that, we've had a great intro getting into here. We've heard enough from me. Let's go ahead and get my guest up here and start talking about some stuff and get into this thing.
How's it going, man?
How's it going? John Dexter is here with us today.
Hey, I'm stuck in traffic, so it's going slow. So have no fear. I might be looking ahead, but I can carry on the conversation. I'm mastered chewing gum and walking at the same time, so this shouldn't be a problem.
All right, we're going to hold you to that too, because I don't want to have that one show that just goes that direction. But I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time being here to talk to us and all. Go ahead and give us the elevator pitch. Let us know what you got going on over there.
Yeah, so currently my comic book Kickstarter is called Alpha Dogs Issue 3 with Issue 1 and 2 catch-up tier, so you can get all 3 issues. It's been going on for a little over a year when I did the first one, and there's been a lot of popularity in comic slowly. Hopefully this has been funded as well too, so it's going pretty decent. But Alpha Dogs is about this overgrown pit bull named Buck. He was inspired by my own dog, who we were living in a town of Missouri. They had outlawed pit bulls. Well, my dog is a pit bull mix, so we had the choice to either move or get rid of the dog. And of course, like any responsible owner, we moved, and that was kind of the genesis of Buck. So he's a dog with the ability to heal from most any wound. He's intelligent enough to understand human speak, and he's got a slightly heightened strength. So he's been on the run with his owner for all of his life, along with this other old grumpy pit bull who shares in Buck's abilities. So after years of running from this group of mercenaries named BlackRock, because they want to get their hands on the dogs because of their abilities, they're trying to manipulate their powers. So after a lifetime of running, they settled down in this small South Carolina farm and believe everything is finally settled down for them, and they're going to be living a peaceful life. The dog's owner, Ina, introduces the dogs to her new boyfriend, who's a fellow bioengineerist. And little does she know, he's already aware of the dog's abilities and has engineered through his work in cancer therapy. He's engineered this formula that once in possession of the dog's blood, he can create his own dogs with incredible powers. One dog can turn invisible. One dog can have a very high intelligence. One dog, I'm trying not to give away the dog's abilities because they show them as they go. I'm a big firm believer in showing and not telling. So his dog, the experiment actually works on our antagonist of the story. It works on his dog, and his dog becomes this big hulky dog who our hero will have to face eventually as the story goes along. So we have 2 fronts going on with this exciting story. You've got these mercenaries that have been on the hunt with Ina and her dogs for all these years. Then you've got this bioengineerist who's creating his own dogs for his own revenge plot with incredible abilities.
and it's a very fun read. I mean, it's a dark story too, but it is definitely a fun read on there, and it keeps your
Yeah,
attention as you go along with it. Issues 1 and 2 definitely have the page turning ability to them, which is good.
yeah.
I will say this, that actually my fiance was the one who recommended, getting in touch with you and getting you on here as a guest and everything, because she's not that much into comics. I'm going to go ahead and say
Yeah.
that here. And yes, she's my fiance, so don't everybody cancel me all at once. I mean, I'm marrying someone who's not a comic nerd. I will turn. But she contacted me and she said, I actually like this guy's work. I'm interested in seeing what these books are. Get him on the show. And I was like,
Oh, cool.
yeah, that's done.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, I mean, you've got somebody that, with me, I've got a lot of experience in dealing with a lot of guests and a lot of comics, and I've been involved in comics for quite some time, not just doing the shows, but my own personal. And then she comes into the picture, not knowing that much about comics and not being involved, and she really enjoys it as well. So that's a big plus to your thing right there, because you're showing that you're not just stuck with the current market that you have and the current circles, to go ahead and back this. You've actually got newer people who are getting interested in this too.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's definitely a comic for dog lovers. That's been kind of been getting a lot of people that they love dogs, and so they want to see this story. Now, it's no Disney story, dogs. It's as you said, it is kind of dark. It really is in a serious tone, even though it's got these dogs with superpowers. It's told in the same vein of like a Why the Last Man or Lost, where there's these multiple stories, this mystery that's slowly being uncovered as we go along. We want to know how the dogs got their powers and why this guy has got this revenge plot that is involved with Ina. So there's a lot to unpack, and as the story goes along, we uncover something only to have this other mystery pop up. I'm always a big fan of great technique. So I wanted to integrate it with this very epic, very sprawling story that will take, I'm guessing, about 50 issues to tell.
Wow. So we're just getting started into this. This is the tip of the iceberg so far.
Yeah, the first storyline is going to be 9 issues, and then there's going to be 5 volumes in all. Maybe it won't be quite 50 issues, but it's going to hover around there. The first series is already written out, the first 9 issues, and then beyond that, I kind of got a basis of what I'm going to do. And as the stories goes along, the kind of the B subplot is flashback and to unpack and uncover how the dogs gain these abilities.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like a lot of fun, and from what I've seen so far, like I said, it's definitely got my attention, and it's definitely got my appeal on here to try to figure out what's going on. How did you come up with, talking dogs and everything? Because the first thing that came to my mind as soon as I started reading this is I'm a huge Dean Koontz fan, and there was a book that he did called The Watchers, where he did an entire chapter devoted to you were thinking as a dog, which I thought was the coolest thing ever to actually do in writing. And then as soon as I see this that you've done on here, I'm like, I'm seeing it again. What is up with this?
I've never heard of that. I've never read Dean Koontz. I'm a big fan of Stephen King, but I've never read Dean Koontz. But yeah, that's cool. So I guess, like I said, when we had to move, that was kind of the genesis. Well, it all came about because my friend had seen the Westminster Dog Show, and he called me up and was all excited, and he said, John, I've got your next comic book idea. You need to write a comic about dogs with superpowers. And I thought to myself originally, that is the stupidest idea I've ever heard. But it just started to percolate, and I was watching Lost at that time, rewatching it actually, and I just loved how they had, your A storyline of trying to get off the island, and the B storyline was kind of the a mystery of each of these characters, and that's how I originally wrote it. It was Buck was the main character, but then we would flash back to the other dogs and get their origin stories, and it, as anything, it slowly changed as time went along, and the whole story is a focal point of our main character, Buck. So that's kind of how it all came together, and I love that kind of story where you have this young dog, and he just in love with his owner and thinks she can do no wrong, just like parents with their children. And then the mother or owner in this case brings this new boyfriend, and she kind of pushes her dog aside, and it's kind of a cautionary tale to a certain extent, where single parents will bring this new boyfriend, and they kind of will put this boyfriend and girlfriend's needs above their own children, and the fallout of that and how it affects the kids. And I wanted to use that as a theme for alpha dogs, with Buck believing his owner is this great person, and she divulges the dog's secrets to this new boyfriend because she's lived such an incredibly lonely life that she's easily manipulated by this man. So there's a lot of things that go along with alpha dogs. It's very, for superhero talking dogs, it's got a lot of serious tone to it.
And you've also got another character in there, which I believe his name is Cyrus, is the older pit that's in there.
Yeah, everybody loves Cyrus. He's this jaded old dog that was much like where Buck, has been brushed aside for this new boyfriend. Cyrus has kind of been brushed aside for Buck when he was a puppy. So it's kind of comes full circle, and Cyrus has lived a very long life, and he's seen humans for their true flaws, unlike this starry-eyed younger dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cyrus definitely seems like the type of dog that'd be like, get off my lawn. I can definitely relate to Cyrus.
Yeah, a lot of people. It seems like everybody over 40, Cyrus is their favorite character. He has a terrific backstory. He was his former owner was this person of quite a lot of distinction, and Cyrus was a dog with some respect for humans. Kind of respected him, but he's been now thrust onto Ina's lap for reasons that we will get into as the story goes along, and he wants to very much show off his abilities, and he hates living this life of seclusion. So there's a lot going on with Cyrus, and there's definitely rivalry between the two dogs.
And you can definitely see that. And you'd mentioned earlier, coming up with a book about the superpowered dogs. You thought at first, that's kind of stupid whenever you're thinking about that, but it's actually taken off and gotten following and continues to get a following. And I wanted to show one of the new covers for issue 3 that's out there. We talked about this is not Disney. That proves it right there. That's a version right there. What you're getting into, but
yeah,
it is a fun ride. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts in the issues, but it makes sense. So it's not anything that you're going to get lost in. You just have to kind of just page turn through there and keep up with it, and you're good.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I haven't had any complaints yet from anybody that's read the series. Series 1, issue 1 is an introduction to the characters, and issue 2 is got a lot of the backstory and is sets up for issue 3. And issue 3 is kind of where everything kind of comes to a head, and you can see I didn't include any of the dialogues. I didn't want to give too much away, but I have a 6-page preview on Kickstarter of issue 3, and there all 3 trailers are on there, and all 3 of the trailers are really great. They're top notch. I would challenge any trailer on Kickstarter to be any better than the ones that they've put together on there. They're really fun, exciting trailers. So,
they are. I mean,
people should enjoy that.
Where this it could definitely turn into an animated series or something. I could definitely see that happening, and would love to see that. But this is another one of the covers.
I hope so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is another one of the covers that you.
Wolverine. Yeah, Wolverine's my favorite character. Obviously, you see the similarity with the healing ability with Buck. But yeah, I was a 90s X-Men kid. That was my introduction to the X-Men, was the cartoon, and I was a huge fan, and that's what got me kind of involved with comics, obsessed with it really back when I was a teenager, was the X-Men cartoon. So I wanted to do a homage cover to my favorite character, so I did the very famous Hulk 181 cover.
Yes. And it's funny that you actually did that because it has a little more meaning than just that. Because you already touched on the fact that the villain dog that's in there has got the hulking ability. He's not kidding. This thing goes from a regular size and just kind of grunts and snarls a little bit, and then grows to the size of a car in no time. So yeah, it's pretty messed up how that thing's got the power like that, and the bad attitude to go with it.
Yeah. He is very much enjoying the hunt and enjoying human. He is more dominant than them because he's this dog that's, like any dogs, the humans have been the dominant species, and now he's finally going to be able to show that he is the most powerful being on Earth, human or man.
Hmm. Now I got to ask, because we've already touched on it just real quick, but I got to ask you, would you would you really enjoy if someone came up to you and said, we'd like to start, looking at putting this into an animated series? Of course, it wouldn't happen real soon because you still got to have more of the story underneath there. But would you like to do that in the future?
Oh, I mean, that's the ultimate goal, really, is to create this as a series. Not so much because of the money. I just would love a lot of eyes on my comic. I mean, I'm proud of it. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think it's just as good as anything out there, the Alpha Dog series. And it's tough because you have to build that story. And so issue 1 and especially issue 2, it's a lot of building to the storyline. But I do my best to keep it as flowing, as fast paced as I possibly can. And once you stick out with issue 1 and 2, you're going to really enjoy what's to come for the future of the series. And I've had 6 years of building it, so I already know what's going to happen and everything. So it's not like it's something that I've written issue 1 and then I'm coming up with issue 2. I mean, it's all basically been plotted out from start to finish. I already know how it ends on issue, hopefully around issue 50.
Wow. How do you sit at a con table with people coming up and talking to you about this and not give away every single detail on there?
Yeah, I know. It is tough, but it's just try to keep it simple. I haven't been to very many cons yet. I just started going this year because obviously with COVID, but I plan on doing a lot more in 2023. My goal is to get a publisher in 2023 and go to a lot of cons. So I after issue 3, and I have another comic called Dexter Detective that was just funded recently. I'm going to take those issues and I think I'm going to try to get a publisher.
Very cool. That would definitely, I could see where that would definitely happen with Alpha Dogs. I'm gonna have to look at your other one and see what that one is, because if it's the same kind of level of storytelling this one has, then it's definitely worth it as well.
Oh, it's just as good. So Dexter Detective, you can buy it as an add-on to Alpha Dogs. It just finished actually last month on Kickstarter. But it's, if you like Stephen King's It, and if you like True Detective, you put those together with a very, very dark issue of Dukes of Hazzard, then you're going to get Dexter Detective. As crazy as those 3 genres are, those 3, they come together.
That's yeah. As soon as you said that and you finished it off with Dukes of Hazzard, I was like, say again, what was that?
Yeah. So it's in the same tone of True Detective and Stephen King's It. We go back and forth. In this case, it's 40 years. So the story is about these moonshiners in the Appalachian Mountains. This family, notorious family called the Mackinders of the county, 4 generations of moonshiners, and this crew that's connected to the Dixie Mafia. And if you're not familiar with the Dixie Mafia, if you've ever heard of Walking Tall, that Rock was in it, and true story about Beef T. Pusser. Well, the Dixie Mafia are their hitmen, they're drug runners, and they come in, and this group of guys are connected to them, and they try to push out this family of moonshiners, and it erupts into this bloody rivalry in 1981, North Georgia. And this evil entity somehow was unleashed. I'm not going to give anything away, and that's involved with this. And seemingly the evil entity is gone and everything is fine. And 40 years later, the son of the Moonshiners, Detective Donald Mackinder, comes upon this crime scene of the fourth. She's the fourth murder victim of the serial killer, and she's put on display in this Christ-like pose over the very burial grounds the detective's father and uncle buried a bunch of bodies 40 years ago from their moonshine war. And there's an evil entity connected to this that's somehow come back around, and without giving too much away, it's a really, if you love noir, if you like detective mysteries, if you love supernatural stories, then you really enjoy Dexter Detective. It's issue 1, like I said, was just funded, and it's going to be 8 issues in all to tell the whole story.
Nice. That sounds interesting with that. Definitely have to look into that one as well. So I mean, you've got some stuff under your. It's not like you're bored by any means. You've still got plenty of work to keep you busy right now.
Yeah, it's a full-time job, just to get the word out, and with my regular job, which I'm driving. You can see my yellow shirt. I just got out of work. So yeah, it's kind of tough to do both, and that's why I kind of want to get a publisher to kind of alleviate that workload of, because it's my comic, I created it, I'm doing it, I hired the art team, which are terrific, but it's just me paying for this and pushing it.
And a lot of times wearing every single hat, that gets incredibly difficult, because then you can't focus the time that you need to actually create the product. I mean, you're pushing it as much as you can, and then all of a sudden you push so hard and you got a following, and they're like, okay, where is it? And you're like, give me a moment, I'll make it up for you.
yeah, it's very difficult. I haven't been able to write anything in quite a while, so. But the cool thing is I had a lot of prep time. All 8 issues of Dime Store are already written. Now, granted, I go back and go over it and over and over it, but it's actually all written. And I had 6 years of trying to get the money to pay for issue 1 of Dexter Detective. So I had plenty of prep time before the Kickstarters to get going. But yeah, it's the worst part, really, in the comics. But both are part of it that is great fun.
Yeah. And I keep showing the link down here at the bottom. Keeps running every once in a while. I want to let everyone know that the link is embedded in the feed wherever you're watching this on whatever platform. So it makes it very easy whenever we're done. Go click on that, go over there, check it out, see what's available. And there's all different options to get in there as well. And it's a fun read. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, I've got it up on the computer on the side over here because I was looking at it over the past few days, and it's got a lot to it that actually keeps you going. In fact, it's got an ending to 2 that kind of irritated me, because it was like, I got to have 3. I can't leave it like this. You can't leave it on that much of a cliffhanger.
I love cliffhangers. I absolutely love cliffhangers. So every issue has got a really cool cliffhanger. I'm a big fan of them.
I'm definitely not giving anything away, but the way that you ended 2, because you went completely off story to a whole different thing, and in 2 pages you went ahead and said, nope, we're done, we're not going to do any more right now, you got to wait till 3. And I'm like, no.
Well, that's the whole point of it. Throw everybody for a loop. Yeah, I wanted it to look like it was, some office setting, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I just love that. I just love that stuff. So I had that on there.
Oh, it definitely went well. And it's definitely one of those that if you're reading this and you're getting into it and you get to that point, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, if you have read it, comment and let us know that you have. Don't give spoilers, but just let us know. And let us know if you're frustrated as well and ready for 3, because all you got to do is go over there to the Kickstarter and get it now, so we can figure out what happens, because we got left on that cliffhanger, unless 3 is going to do it as well, in which case it's going to be wins 4. Come on, you got to keep us going here.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, not to give anything away, but if you hated the cliffhanger for 2, you're really going to be hating the cliffhanger for 3, because it's pretty wild cliffhanger. So you'll have to read it.
Oh, here we go. Okay, I can do that. I can do this. Get on the mailing list so that you know when it's going to happen and everything. Reach out to John, find out when things are going on. I'm sure he'll be happy to let you know what dates he knows about coming out. But right now, the Kickstarter is going on there. Don't miss out on that one. Have a doggone good time doing it. I got to do it. I have to. It's easy to do right now. I mean, I could do the whole barking thing too, with the bark up the wrong tree. I had a whole list of things I was going to do, but I'm not going to.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, it ends November 4th, so the deadline is quickly approaching. So hopefully people go on here and check it out. At the very least, check out the trailers. The trailers are really cool. But and there's a lot of reviews on there. I left. They've been very, very positive, and so there's a lot of cool rewards on there too. You can get all 3 covers. There's a mega pack where you can get every cover available from all the other campaigns, with the exception of issue 1's variant. That's gone. That's sold out. So
very cool. Now you've got how many variants? You got 3 variants on this one or 2?
Yep, I went with 3 for issue 3. I did 2 for issue 2, and I'm thinking if everything, if I'm able to keep funding and I'm not going to make any money on it, but if I can at least break even down the road, then maybe I'll do more. But I think 3 is a good sweet spot for covers. It's shocking how many people have so many covers on there. It's crazy.
Exactly. I mean, you even have a thing on there, if I'm not mistaken, that you can draw your own dog in as an extra.
Yep. So on the back page, I did it for issue 2. I did where you could have your dog in there, and I only had 3 spots available, and they sold out like in minutes. I mean, it was crazy. So while I couldn't have any dogs in the next one, for the inside back cover, I have 10 spots available to have your dog, a fully colored picture of your dog there. And I think there's 3 or 4 spots left open right now. So that's a pretty cool one that people have been buying. Another cool, really neat one is our artist will draw your dog for you. He'll do a fully colored cartoon drawing of your dog on there, and people have just loved it. I mean, everybody loves dogs. I mean, they're part of the family, and so there's been a lot of people that have filled that tier on there that have to have a painting. He draws it, colors it of their dog. So that's pretty cool. Another really cool get on me for me is Trish Forstner is doing sketch covers for Alpha Dogs. And I don't know if you're familiar with Trish Forstner. She's the artist of Stray Dogs. Mm-hmm. So she's on there doing sketch covers, and she did 3 for issue 2, and I bought one myself because it was just awesome. I mean, she's so awesome of her to agree to do it, and she's going to be doing it for this one as well.
Nice. Now, because you're dealing with someone else from another, franchise, which is Stray Dogs, will there be some kind of crossover at some point, or?
I wish. Yeah, I wish. I have actually. I never actually said to anybody yet, but actually, if Alpha Dogs takes off, I have a spin-off series down the road, and so maybe I could get her to be the artist, but I don't know. She's got a lot on her plate, and she's pretty big, and she's probably very expensive too. So
well, that's okay. You got plenty of followers, and you're going to have even more afterwards, and all that. They'll be able to take care of it, no problem. You're going to have all the following on this because everybody loves
be
dogs,
nice.
like you said.
Exactly. Yeah. I knew. Alpha Dogs is a very original story. You're not going to see 2 of them, I'm sure, as you probably can attest. Most everything on Kickstarter and even mainstream is either on mainstream is superheroes and for Kickstarter and TNA. Those seem to be the giants. So if you want to read something that is unlike anything you've read, then you should definitely pick up Alpha Dogs. I don't know anybody that's read it that said, "Oh, I don't like this." I've had over 50% of people have come back to the Kickstarter, which is very high. Usually with Kickstarters, you get about a 30% return, maybe 40, but this mine for issue 1 and 2, and I'm seeing with this, I'm at 50% or over of people that have returned.
Excellent. That is great right there. And as long as you're seeing the continual growth on there, you'll definitely see it just move up and up and up. As long as it's consistent, which it sounds like with as much material as you've got and all, you've definitely got the consistency ready to go.
Yeah, I hope so. I just got to get more people. That's been the tough part. It's really because I'm kind of starting out at ground zero last year. It's been, and I'm not showing, I don't have any TNA comics unless someone wants to see. I was interested in not naked dogs, I guess, but it's definitely difficult. And with COVID, the signings, I mean, you can't really get into too many places with signings. Thankfully, the Comic Cons are started up and they've been really doing well. But we're in a cusp of a recession, it looks like. So, and Kickstarter has really grown exponentially since COVID. So there's a lot of competition out there. So it has been tough, but if you write good stuff, then you will get. If you write it, they will come, I guess.
Exactly.
Write it well.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say, and I've got to do another one because dad jokes are here today. I'm just saying it.
There you go.
If you want a tail wagging good time, you need to go get this book. I mean, you can look for the hashtag. I'm sure it's attached to it somehow, some way. Tail wagging good time. But go over there, check it out, see what's happening with this. Find something that you like, but definitely share as well. Because that's the biggest thing you can do, because not everybody can financially support absolutely everything. I mean, everybody knows that's true.
Yeah.
It costs you absolutely nothing to use the power of the finger, the correct one if you can, and go ahead and hit that share button and get it shared out so other people have an opportunity to go ahead and be a part of this as well. So, yeah, we need to make sure we have more people over there, like you said. And it's kind of like with sales, you can have 100 people walk into a store and only 10 people are going to buy something. So if you only have 10 people walk in, you can do the math on that one to figure out it's only one person or less is going to buy something. So you want to make sure you have on there to go ahead and get people interested.
Absolutely, and you can get all 3 issues in PDF form for only $12, and you can get all 3 issues of the physical copy for $30. So the prices are very reasonable considering it is a Kickstarter, and we have to charge a premium. But for what a lot of people are charging, it's actually I think I've been very fair and doing my best so people will actually purchase the comic.
Excellent. Well, I mean, you've got a great campaign going over there and everything. I got to ask you, what has been your biggest inspiration? Like, how do you get inspiration to go ahead and write this? I mean, do you watch like, Old Yeller, several times while you're writing, or what exactly do you do over there?
Inspiration. That's a good question. I guess just mostly just to try to make it. I mean, all I've wanted to do since I was a little kid was be a writer. So it's and the cool thing about Kickstarter and comics is it's up to me. I'm not waiting on any. Now, obviously, I got to wait on the artist, but for the most part, it's on my shoulders to make this happen. So the inspiration is to make my dreams come true. is really my inspiration, really, to, I mean, I'm sure most people are like this, you've been told, oh, you'll never make it, you'll never be able to achieve anything, your dream. So with this being kind of my own boss, I don't have to wait for anybody. I'm self-publishing it for now. And so it's really up to me how far I can go. So I'm going to message many, many people, and I know a lot of people, but they can always put block on there. So, it's wanting, you got to want it. And I definitely do. So yeah, I've annoyed plenty of people by my messaging and tagging, but like I said, all I got to do is hit the block button.
Well, I mean, it's you're not doing it as bad as I've seen in the past. Like, some people will friend you out of nowhere just to go ahead and send you a message saying, spend some money on my campaign, and never talk to you again. So those are the ones that I block pretty quickly. And I hate doing that, especially in my line of work. But, oh yeah, we're talking about dogs, and my cat wants to be a part of the show here. But it's just one of those things that you do it the right way, and you get the respect from it to go ahead and keep moving forward, because people understand it's still a business in the end, end part of the day and all. So I don't see a problem with it. Whatever you're doing on there, I haven't seen any problem with the way that you're doing it. Just keep doing it the same way. And if someone has a problem, because there's always Karens involved, they can just look the other way.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's so much noise out there and so much content out there that you've got to do something to to put yourself apart from everybody else. So I've got some really cool videos, and if they want to go, I'm on Facebook. If you type in John Dexter, probably do a search for Alpha Dogs John Dexter. If you do that, even on Google, you'll get a plethora of information and places to find me. But I'm on Twitter at Real Alpha Dogs, and I'm on Instagram at alpha_dogs_comic. So there's plenty of material and content that you can kind of nose around in and see if Alpha Dogs would be your cup of tea.
Cool, that's perfect. Well, we've gotten to that point where I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give you full screen here in just a moment and let you tell everybody why they need to go over there to the campaign right now. Since we're at that point on the show now, they need to click on the link, go over there, and find something. There's got to be something over there for them. Go ahead and let them know what they need to be looking for over there whenever they get to the campaign.
Okay, yeah. So Alpha Dogs has got till November 4th to fund. If you love adventure stories, if you're a dog lover, if you love a lot of intrigue and mystery, then you should definitely check out Alpha Dogs. And Buck is someone that we can relate to, even though he's a dog. He's feared by the humans because of his breed and size, but it doesn't stop him from helping them and helping other people. Everybody's I think everybody's had people that have had a predetermined notion of them just by the way they look, and that's the same with the hero of our story, Buck. So he's someone that's very relatable, and who doesn't love dogs? He's a cool dog. He's really cool looking with his white fur and the black on him. And then you've got these other characters. You've got a Cocker Spaniel that's introduced, a Chihuahua that's kind of a little bit of a comic relief, and some other ones. So you should definitely at least look it out. There's a lot of cool trailers on there, and the price is not that much for any comic book. So hopefully you will support it, and there's plenty of story to tell. So
excellent. I mean, you heard him. Get over there, find out what's going on, find your tier that you want. If for some reason you're not financially able to do so, all you got to do is hit that share button and share it out and let other people know about it. So the more eyes we can get on there, the more people can get involved, and we can have a doggone good time doing it. Yep, I had to do another one. I did.
that's all right.
I know. Everybody's going to tune away on that one. One more joke, and that's it. We're unfriending, but yeah, okay. But I want to thank you for being on here today and taking the time to be on here with me, and thank you for not wrecking while we're doing this, because I didn't want to take those kind of ratings. I like having more viewers, but not at the expense of somebody.
It's definitely what Crash TV.
Well, let's not go that far with it, but thank you again for being here, and looking forward to seeing what you have in the future coming out as well. If you want to go ahead and sit in the green room for just a moment, I'll be out there just as soon as I'm done with the closing statements.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. All right, so we had John Dexter up here. We were talking about his book with Alpha Dogs. And yes, I did a lot of dog references and jokes on there, but you got to have fun. I mean, why wouldn't you have fun with these kind of things? It's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog. Yep, one more. I know, unfriend. Y'all just take care of it. Anyway, I always have a closing statement at the end of my show. Tonight's not going to be any different with that. It's always based on something that the guest has said on here, usually based on one word. And tonight it's based on the word devotion. The reason I chose that one is because whenever he mentioned that the whole point of all this happening was because he had a dog someone didn't care for, that much. They didn't even know, but they didn't care for, and gave him the ultimatum, either leave or remove the dog. And he said, see ya, and went ahead and left with the dog. That's devotion right there. Now, that being said, it's not just in a case where it's only that. We're talking about devotion in his work in the comic. We're talking about devotion in his work of getting his brand out there, trying to get more exposure to the cause that's involved in all this. It's not the money. He's not expecting to retire off of this anytime soon. It may take him another 5 to 10 years, and he'll have, servants and a mansion and, expensive cars and all that. We'll get back to him on that one. We know we'll have him back, and we'll be talking about that in no time. But it's all about getting the cause more exposure out there. We're not saying that we're trying to, step on anybody's toes or anything, but sometimes it's all about your perspective. To go in there with a negative perspective and not even know the situation, that's not even worth it. To go in there and actually take the time to learn about and to educate yourself on what's going on and then make an educated decision, that we can kind of discuss. So it's all about the devotion that you put into something to think about for the future. But until next time, we're going to be having the next show coming up here very shortly. And then we're keeping going with Hell of a Show. So I hope y'all are enjoying this and having a hell of a time, because we'll be back very soon. Until then, keep it indie, y'all.
Settle into sockets, flip the switch and watch them run.